Greetings! It is I, the Fiendish Dr. Phil Nichols, coming to you for another installment of From the Lab. Greetings, monster kids! It is I, the Fiendish Dr. Phil, coming to you for another installment of From the Lab. Well, folks, I am so happy to report to you that I have completed the build on Fred Olin Ray's project. I can't tell you the title because you'll know what I built from the title, but it's one of his creature versus creature things, probably going to be on Sci-Fi. 2.5 months to build that was hampered by the floods. We had so many floods this year. Texas is crying, but you know what, sometimes Texas deserves to cry. They get a little stupid down here, but that be that as it may. Back at it, back to doing the collectibles. I of course am working on a lot of things. I have not had much sculpting time in the last couple weeks, but that should be back to sculpting daily by the weekend, probably, because I want to get this series, which and this isn't all of them. There's still 3 or 4 pieces up in the back end of the shop, but that's where we've got all the stuff stored for Fred, so I can't shoot that today. We're waiting for him to tell us when to ship. He's shooting his other movie right now, so as soon as that's shipped out, then it'll be a lot less crowded around here. Anyway, sculpting. I want to get the stuff based. I want to get it through airbrushing, get the eyes and the teeth set in, get the overbasing and all that done before I start sculpting again. And as I completed 2 commissioned sculptures, 2 more came in. The Maniac. And Joe Spinelli as the Maniac, and from Trick or Treat, Sammy Kerr. So I'll be working on them and everything. Now that the movie's done, it's going to be equal sculpting days, finishing days. So it shouldn't be long. I'm hoping to have everybody's pieces to them by Halloween. I really am. What I'll probably have to do, though, to meet that goal, is I will not have releases until I complete all the commission first editions and get them shipped out. Then I'll release editions. That's where I get bogged down, is making the production runs out of the sculptures. So I'm going to hold off on releasing too much stuff until I get these commissions done, because there's some cool stuff. The child catcher from Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, and y'all know Ian Fleming wrote Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Okay, this is the James Bond kid story, so it would be a very cool piece to have in your collection. Ian Fleming's kid's villain, the child catcher. That would be very awesome. So speaking of British, I've been working on Sir Christopher as Dracula. I finished up the movie probably Friday was when I finished everything, And Saturday I spent the day scrubbing the glue and the hair off the walls around here because they're hairy creatures. I decided, you know, I need to do something other than this movie. My brain is getting fried, so I made the silicone molds. Here they are. For these two guys, the Wolfman and Dracula. You know, this is just taped in with masking tape. And now yesterday I did seam all the Draculas. I have not yet begun to Dremel these guys, and I'll do that tomorrow. I'll make short work of the dremeling on them, and there's about 8 other things that need seaming, and I'll get all that done early in the day tomorrow, and then get them based out. And my goal is to be airbrushing Wednesday. And once they're through the airbrush, which, you know, I just do it for like under shading and stuff like that. But I don't know about doing it on him yet. Probably not too much. And then into the overpainting, because I paint like Madame Tussauds does, with a lot of layers, a lot of glazes. They use oil paints. I use acrylics. I could, I guess, use rubber mask grease paints and all that stuff, but it'd take it forever to dry. So you know, I figured out how to do it with the acrylic paints. Anyway, I'm gonna head. You know, we wanted to shoot this. We're on a time crunch today because Melissa's got to leave for a few days. She's going to, the first parts of the week she won't be here. Anyway, I wanted to show y'all something cool instead of just saying I'm done with the movie, blah blah blah. So what I did was I put some base paint on him, and then I mixed a little red and gave it a rosy wash, and then I mixed some white and did the overlay. And the eyes and the teeth again are just taped in with masking tape. But boy howdy, isn't that good? That just looks so nice. Yeah, I haven't filled any seams. I haven't done it. This is just quick slap and dash, show y'all something pretty cool. But I think it's going to be a marvelous piece. Now this is actually the 3rd casting out of the mold that I've designated for mine. To be the Count Dracula piece, and I felt comfortable experimenting on it until I get it just right, and then I'll paint the commissioned ones. And I also have to do Carolyn Monroe and the hands and all that stuff, and I found a good mannequin in my storage. I got to cut the head of it off, and I got to put a brace inside that I can put a flange and a pipe on for my sculpting clay press. But I think that will really help me with the measurements of her to get her just right, because she was very chesty, and it's easy when you do those kind of things to make the shoulders too big, but she wasn't real broad. She was real chesty, but not real broad. So I found a mannequin that kind of fit her measurements good for that, and I've got good hands for him. And then I've got the ring. This is the official one from Universal Studios. So I'll mold this and make clay presses of it to go on his little finger and Bela Lugosi's ring finger. And that's what we'll do for the rings. I also want to, with the Wolfman now, you can get the, from Rob Cometti, you can get a resin casting of the cane head. And now that was Henry Alvarez's, and it was Henry borrowed the latex one from Bob Burns, because when I visited Bob, I saw it in his collection, the rubber head that Claude Rains beat Lon Chaney Jr. with in the Wolfman, and it's the only thing that survived. The other canes didn't survive or were taken, I don't know, but Bob had that one, and he told me he let Henry borrow it, and Henry made an alginate mold of it, and then they poured wax in, and then that became the thing that Rob has, that they took the silicone molds off of. And they're $75. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. Because online you can get one that's chrome and heavy for $300 or $400. And then you can get a miniaturized one for $130, which I got, but it's about half size. So if you want to get the Wolfman cane head, I'd get it from Rob Cometti, because it's a casting of the latex head that came from the mold that they made the silver one from, sculpted by Ellis Berman, who was Tom Berman's dad and Rob and Barney's grandpa. And I know all three, Tom, Barney, and Rob. I worked with Tom and Barney on powder, And I hung out with Rob when I was out in L.A. visiting everybody. Rob's just the nicest guy. He just is. He just is a really nice guy. Anyway, I've rambled on, but I'm working on everything. And by the weekend, I should have this stuff far enough along that y'all go, dang. So anyway, but here he is. I think it's going to be one of my really good pieces. All right, I hope y'all had a good weekend. Hope y'all had a great Father's Day. This has been the Fiendish Dr. Phil Nichols from the lab.